Final Four coverage continues here in Indianapolis, and we are down to 2. 1 versus 2 for the national championship Monday night at Lucas Oil Stadium. The matchup we all wanted to see, number 1 Gonzaga against number 2 Baylor preseason poll. And, of course, the 4 previous times that it was 1 versus 2, number 2 came away with the national championship. A lot of people like Baylor in this spot. I'm going to stick with Gonzaga here. But you can make an argument, though, that last night UCLA exposed Gonzaga in that game. What did we learn about Gonzaga in that Final Four game? And they win, obviously, in dramatic fashion with Jalen Suggs hitting the buzzer beater.
The biggest thing I learned from the UCLA-Gonzaga game was UCLA's game plan before the game was to slow it down, make it a half-court game. And that's always a great game plan, right? It's like fighting Mike Tyson. Everybody has a game plan when you got to fight Iron Mike until he punches you in the face. And then what happened in that game? 93-90 final. When you're playing Gonzaga, you know what you're going to have to do? Score the basketball. Both teams were remarkable from the field, 58%. But I thought that Mick Cronin's team could kind of slow the pace down. Gonzaga is just so relentless, attacking the rim. They have so many different scoring options that what I learned was if Baylor is going to beat Gonzaga, and clearly they can, obviously they've had an outstanding year and they're only a slight underdog in this game. But if they're going to beat Gonzaga, they're going to have to beat Gonzaga at their game, scoring 80 or 90 points.
Yeah, that was their closest game of the season, a 3-point victory. I mean, that was you talk about the stakes and what was on the line. They come up clutch. Jalen Suggs hits the game winner, the first freshman ever hit a game winner buzzer beater in the Final Four. All right, you're our sports line expert. You know how to put knowledge in our mind and money in our pocket. You love that. You want to put it on a coaster, as do I. We're going to get a side, a total, and a best wager. But first, before we pick that, Gonzaga opened as a 4.5-point favorite. What do you make of the line?
You know, I thought they were way overvalued against UCLA. You know it, I know it, the American people know it. I was all over UCLA. I even said to buy UCLA down to 9.5 or 10. I thought that line was egregious. And honestly, I think this line is erroneous on all accounts. 4.5, this game should be a pick 'em.
Yeah.
If Baylor plays how Baylor played in the first half against Houston, Gonzaga's going to lose, and they're going to lose handily. Now, can Scott Drew bottle up that 20 minutes? That's going to be hard to replicate. I mean, they were outstanding, really dominated Houston in every category, turned them over, beat Houston at rebounding, banged down 8 threes. And when you make shots, you compete harder on the defensive end. I don't think they could do that in back-to-back performances. I don't think they could do that for 40 minutes. And to beat a team, a generational team like Gonzaga, that's what's going to need to happen. But I want to lay all those points in this game. I think this game should be, honestly, a pick-em, a 1.5 or a 2.
Did we see, though, a blueprint from UCLA that now they can hand that off to Scott Drew and Baylor and say, hey, look, we lost by 3. You're a better team. Not that UCLA would concede that, but they're a better team. And they say, hey, here's the blueprint for you to beat Gonzaga.
Yeah, what do you think it is? What did you see that stood out to you that they did differently? The only thing I saw was
defense. That's what I saw. I mean, they gave
up 93 points
right,
to keep. I wouldn't say that was great defense.
It wasn't. Right, that's what I'm saying. I think Baylor could play better defense in this national championship game and give Gonzaga fits that they wouldn't allow Gonzaga to score 93 points.
I will be really surprised if Baylor's defense can do to Jalen Suggs what it did to Dejan Jarreau. Like, they basically said, oh, yeah, we just wiped you out. Quentin Grimes, you're a pretty good player, 18 points, wiped you out. I don't think that their defense, Baylor's defense, is going to just wipe out a Suggs, a Nembhard, Like, I don't think that their defense is going to do that. If they do, if they are able to disrupt them, well, then they're going to win the game. What I saw against Houston in the first half, Baylor would have beat the Pacers. That's how dominant they were. I think that Gonzaga's guards are the best in the country. There's balance there. Kispert's able to spread the floor. But if Baylor's defense disrupts Gonzaga, certainly they can win this game.
Sabonis.
That name I know.
A lot of names.
Joel Ayayi.
Yeah, that's a lot of names on the Baylor's list. And they got the
Sorry, Joel. I deserve to. You make your first 8 shots in the Final Four. I will learn your name and say it correctly.
Phenomenal. Yeah, but you look at Baylor and their bench. I mean, it's deep. I mean, you got Adam Flagler, you got Matthew Meyer, business in the front, party in the back. You got Jonathan Chamwa Chachua. I
Boom.
mean, like, you got these guys. You got players. They're deep. They're deep. All right, so we're picking a side here. We mentioned Gonzaga's 4.5-point favorite. First time Baylor's been an underdog all season. Are you laying the 4.5, or you like the points with the Bears?
No, I would still lay it. I think Gonzaga's going to win this game. I think at the end of the day, they're just so balanced, and they took a really big shot from UCLA. The one thing I said that UCLA had an advantage of, only one, coming into the game was adversity. Man, could you go through any more adversity than when Gonzaga went through? I mean, life and death, possessions that could have decided not only their season, the national championship, and undefeated. Like, that was what Mark Few needed. That was like if he could cook in like a cauldron, like of adversity, that would be the cauldron. And the perfect thing is they even went out and won the game. So, like I said, I don't feel comfortable laying all these points, but I feel like Gonzaga is going to win the game.
All right, so Gonzaga, highest scoring team in the nation. Baylor, the best three-point shooting team in the nation. You look at that and you go, all right, we're going to have a high-scoring game. Or do you think they slow it down, that maybe Baylor dictates the tempo and says we're going to slow things down, we're going to make sure we get into these tit-for-tat situations? Or do you think it flies over the total, 159.5?
I think it flies over the total. I mean, it was 93-90, and I know that both teams shot 58%, but watching Baylor from an offensive perspective, you talked about their bench. You know, Meyer comes in with the mullet. He's banging down threes. Their guards are electric. They can throw a lob at any point. And Gonzaga's like, okay, we're playing a basketball game. You're actually going to play at our pace. Who's been able to slow down Gonzaga? And I thought UCLA had the guards to kind of pull them out of their, defense and go one-on-one, and they weren't able to do it. So this is actually my best bet of the national championship game over in this spot. Anybody who bets the championship game under, they go to weddings and root for divorce. They want famine. They want bad things. They want COVID-21 again. Like, this is bad. No, hammer the over in this spot. It's going to be a high-scoring affair. Love the over, and the fact that these kids have played on these rims. They shot the ball at an extremely high percentage in the national semifinal. Hammer time. The more you bet, the more you win on the over.
Put that on a coaster as well. And that makes sense. You like Gonzaga, you like the over, maybe a correlated parlay as well. All right, let's get your tippy top wager for the national championship game. It is what?
Is Gonzaga's going to win.
Okay.
I don't love 4.5, but I love the fact that they figured out a way down the stretch, and they dealt with all of that adversity. And then Drew Timme, he just does what's needed to be done. Oh, you need 3 baskets in overtime? Bam, bam, bam. And his footwork's outstanding. Suggs had some mental breakdowns defensively, and had he rebound with one of the most sensational basketball plays I've ever seen at any level, blocking a shot and then distributing to Timme. But I really felt like the role players, the supporting cast for Gonzaga, the Nemharts, the Ayais, those guys went out there and made plays to help the big three. And Corey Kispert, if he starts finding his rhythm from the outside, I just have a little bit more trust in Gonzaga because there are just so many options.
This is the lowest price you'd pay for Gonzaga on the money line. Of course, it comes against the next best team in college basketball, -210. How about my parlay yesterday?
Winner?
Gonzaga and Baylor, -170.
You had to sweat it out with the Zags. How about people who had Gonzaga on the money line just being like, oh, it's going to be an easy winner?
It wasn't.
Came down to an amazing shot. This is what we waited for. We didn't see it in December. We got it now. And what a ratings bonanza. What a bad first game. What an amazing second game. And now we have the national championship we all wanted to see.
4 months to the day. It was the first Saturday in December they were supposed to play. Now the first Monday in April. Baylor and Gonzaga for the national championship game Monday night. Let's take a look at Tim's picks. Take a screenshot of this. Might want to make some wagers here on Monday night. Tim likes Gonzaga, laying the 4.5. He likes the game to go over the total of 159 and a hook, and likes Gonzaga on the money line. So lay the points, lay the -210 on Gonzaga as they look to complete a national championship run and go undefeated, becoming the 8th team to do so, first since the 1976 squad from Indiana.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.